Hi guys, it's album review time. We've got Sorcerer and Reign of the Reaper. This is this Swedish band's fourth album. Just came out yesterday, October the 27th on Metal Blade Records. I've really been looking forward to this and not disappointed in the slightest. The minute my mate Mark Clower, one of the idiots, turned me on to this band, I was hooked. And they are one brilliant band. Swedish. If you look on how they're described, for instance, on Wikipedia, it says epic doom metal. Yeah, I would say, well, you're going to hear me say epic a lot during this album review. So that is definitely part of their repertoire. And yes, doom elements for sure. But there's so much more than that. You know, they're a little bit progressive sometimes, not too progressive, but they got that in them. And they're definitely more traditional heavy metal sometimes as well, depending on what song it is. But one thing I can say is they are brilliant. They are one of the best bands out there. And now I'm talking about one of my favourite albums of the year, just to let you know. They, without a doubt, you know, this is a masterclass in metal. It really is. This band got a bit of a weird history actually. That's formed way back in 1988, but only released a couple of demos and stuff, and then disbanded in 1992, and then came back in 2010. They reformed in 2010. I suppose they were scraping around getting an album deal, I'm not sure, and then they released their first album in 2015, In the Shadow of the Inverted Cross. There were one album in between that, and Lamented of the Innocent came out in 2020. What a shit year to bring an album out. I mean, man, come on, it probably almost brought them to a standstill. That year 2020 could have destroyed a lot of bands that maybe weren't up to the quality of Sorcerer, and they've come out of the other end of it with a brilliant album this year. It's just amazing, man. I've been blown away by this album. And when I said epic, it really describes this band. It really does. Let me talk about the members first, though. You've got Anders Enberg on the vocals. Man, he's the only original member, actually, from all the way back in '88. And man, what a great vocalist. So powerful. And when you're talking about this epic metal, or an epic doom metal, you've got to have someone who's powerful, power vocalist. And man, he's got so much power in his voice. He soars. His pronunciation as well of his words, you understand exactly what he's saying all the time, so you never sort of reach in for what's he say there. He's just really, pronunciation in his vocals is amazing, but mainly the power he's got is just, it suits this metal so well. Then you've got Christian Neyman and Peter Hallgren on the guitars. Wow. I don't think, you know, doom metal is, it's not the first genre you think of, is it, when you think of amazing guitarists? But these two are some of the best guitarists around. They love the way they flick from, you know, solo to solo, share the solos a lot, and you can hear that, the tone of the guitars. I always go on about this, that when a solo switches to the second guitarist, I want to know that it's happened with the tone of the guitar as well. And man, they've got such a cool tone to both of them, so different. But man, this is just if you want guitars, this is the album to go. It's got riffs and little, not so much chugging, because we're talking doom metal here, so real heavy sort of riffs. Not all doom metal again. I want to highlight that this band is so much more than that. But the amazing sort of heavy riffs, evil sounding riffs that come out of this album are just brilliant, outstanding. And you've got Justin Biggs on the bass and Stefan Norgren on the drums. I think, you know, I'm not an expert musician or anything, but I think that sometimes it must be really hard to play. Some of these songs are slower than others, and when they really slow it down and go more doomy, I love the way this rhythm section sounds. It's just, you know, it must be quite hard to even slow down as much as it is to speed up. You know what I mean? To play fast, it must be quite, to be in that rhythm. Oh man, they sound brilliant. And I want to give a special shout out to the drummer, man. I mean, he does some amazing work on this, and sometimes when them riffs in some of these songs are sort of really slow and plodding, if you like, if you really concentrate on the drums, some of the double kick drums, some of the stuff he's doing underneath that mix, in that mix, is wow. I mean, he's just really fast double kick stuff, but you don't notice it so much because the riffs are still sort of slow and brooding. What a drummer. Amazing stuff. So is this album great? Well, yeah, of course it is. It's just amazing. It's everything I expected and a little bit more, actually. Epic. I'm going to say that a lot. Like I said, slightly proggy at times, not totally, but what they do, they shift maybe 2/3 the way into a song to a different part, you know, completely sounds like a completely different song, and then they go back to the song. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of transitions and stuff like that, but it's not proggy as in takes you out of the groove. It's never like Dream Theater, you know what I mean? But it's just they're really clever in their songwriting. It's such an interesting listen. Huge riffs, like I said, amazing technical album as well. Some of the best musicians you hear on a metal album. And the songs take you on a journey. They really do. You know, if it's a song, and I'm going to talk about that, the way they do this, they almost transport you. So if they're talking about mythology, for instance, singing about mythology, they will take you to that time, and they make you feel like you go back and you're taken away by the story and the way they portray their music and the way they sound and the atmosphere they give. It's amazing. It really is. And production. Whoa, this album sounds amazing. It really does. It's so heavy, so atmospheric. They've got the best out of every instrument. The guitars pop out of the speakers. The drums are so, man, they're monumentous. They sound massive. The bass is thumping, and of course those delicious, powerful metal vocals going over the top of it. It's just, like I said, makes it one of the albums of the year. Let's talk about the tracks. Morning Star.
You know my name. I am the serpent, the voice that spreads sorrow.
This was a single. This is the first track on the album. It's just over 6.5 minutes long, and this is just, for me, a 10 out of 10. It's a 10 out of 10. What a brilliant track to start the album. Epic, riffy, dark, and so incredibly catchy in a really dark way. When that first verse kicks in, you know what you're going to get, and it doesn't disappoint from this song to the last. One of the best starts to an album you will ever hear. After an outstanding sort of technical solo, the track takes a turn, like they do, into sort of a dark, evil finale, and it just leaves you breathless, creative and epic as you like. Then we move on to another epic track, Reign of the Reaper, the title track. Another single, just under 6.5 minutes long, slow to medium pace, this one. That Sabbath sort of Tony Martin era influence that they have kicks in here. The vocals, man, they're just huge over a slow doomy rhythm section. The drums here, this is where I was talking about the drummer earlier. The drum work is so impressive. He sort of switches from that slow pounding rhythms in the verses, and then the double kick patterns come in the chorus. Wow. But the main thing here, it's just a masterful bit of songwriting here. Another huge epic track that takes a turn again later on in the song, and the choir type comes in. It's just before another mind-bending solo section, and then the end takes a really evil turn. Amazing stuff. Thy Kingdom Will Come. The tempo is lifted a little bit on this one. It's a sort of brilliant medium pace metal track. Those doom elements are still there, but this goes more into the like traditional metal territory, I would say. But it's still fucking epic though. It really is. Those guitars, sort of fast chugging parts with those epic vocals really hitting the spot. Another amazing track. Eternal Sleep is the next track, just over 6.5 minutes long. I think this might be the longest song on the album. There's a few that are 6.5 or just under or just over. Acoustic guitar and vocals start this off to give you a little breather from the heaviness we've been having so far. And this is like the heavy ballad of the album, if you like. But those doomy riffs kick in though after a minute, and we have an epic doomy ballad. We shift in and out of light and shade brilliantly. And it just shows you how they, you know, they use them transitions perfectly and create that, again, I'm going to say it again, epic nature to this track. The chorus is a bit of a grower. After, 3 listens now, I'm understanding it a little bit more. But that's what this band, they sometimes give you. I think it's the intention, I believe, that the best songs are growers. And I've found that all my life listening to rock and metal music. That the growers are the ones that stick with you longer. They're the ones that you can't wait to listen to, and I think that's their intention on this track. It's a brilliant track. Curse of Medusa. I think this is the new single. Came out on release day. heavy as you like, of course. Metal and mythology blended perfectly as we get some beautiful, almost Arabian musical elements running through this excellent track. This band have such a huge sound that they are a band, along with a handful of bands, that can transport me. Like I said, I think I mentioned this at the beginning, with their music, and this one and the world of Greek mythology just takes you somewhere else. It's an amazing track. Unveiling Blasphemy is the next track.
Unveiling blasphemy, riots born out of the sea.
This is evil sounding. Just under 6.5 minutes long, slow to medium paced. Have I said epic enough yet? I'm going to say it again. This is really fucking epic. But that doesn't fully explain the sound of this band and what they produce. Heavy riffing, an evil sounding song with a bell tolling just to add to the evilness, and the atmosphere makes this another highlight of this brilliant album. A beautifully, almost haunting, melancholic chorus with angelic backing vocals. I know I'm trying to make it sound good, but it probably ain't as good as it actually is. This is brilliant stuff, man. It's another grower as well. I say this is another grower on this album. Another highlight of the album as well. There's so many highlights, man, but what a song. The Underworld is the next track. This is medium paced, and we're getting back to that sort of faster pace again, more traditional metal, I would say. A shorter track at 4.5 minutes long, but it wastes no time and instantly has more catchy feel, I would say, to the track. Again, exploring more traditional metal, like I said, with their doom elements there. They're still present, but you know, not as upfront as some of the tracks. Again, some amazing drum work in this track, man. Wow. Maybe a future single, I would say. And then we end the track. There's only 8 tracks on this album because most of them are quite long. Just under 6.5 minutes. It's Break of Dawn.
We'll wait until the break of day.
I said just under 6.5 minutes. Not the longest track on the album, but still quite long. It's exactly what you expect from Sorcerer and the last track. Soaring epic vocals over a slow to medium pace. And you guessed it, it's fucking epic. It really fucking is. Again, that sort of Tony Martin, Dio era Sabbath influence coming on strong on this track. Beautiful musical passages throughout that are heavy, then a bit of light halfway through as acoustic guitar comes in with vocals. The transitions are perfect as we go into another amazing solo section as well. Acoustic guitar plays the album out as well. Right on the end of the album, it's stuck on, a bit of acoustic guitar plays out. It almost gives you that heaven and hell feel as you're listening to it. And it just makes me want to go back to track 1. That's exactly what a great album, an ending should do. I want to listen to track 1, and that's exactly what it does. Man, this is one amazing album. You're going to hear me in a couple of months' time talk about my albums of the year. This is going to be on it without a doubt. That's Sorcerer. It's Reign of the Reaper. It's brilliant. Highly recommended from me, guys. Are you going to get it? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you soon.